Jubilee Party, which sponsored Mike Sonko to the top seat of Nairobi City County, now say that the governor has failed and must be removed. The party's vice chairman, David Murathe, says Sonko is forestalling his impeachment, which has nothing to do with the deputy governor's position, but his dismal performance. His nomination of Miguna is of no significance, and that is the quote we have for you there on your screen. And he continues saying that the impeachment process will proceed. There is a statement from one of the top brass from the Jubilee Party, the party that sponsored Mike Sonko to the helm of Nairobi politics. Now, before our discussion, let me take you through some of the records we have for you here with regards to Sonko's performance, which has been questioned widely by not just Nairobians, but also his own political party, that is Jubilee. And let me take you through some of the infographics we have for you this morning. If you look at the budgetary allocation that is in the 2017-2018 financial year, we're going to compare Nairobi with the two other major cities, that is Mombasa and Kisumu. Nairobi County got a total of 16.7 billion Kenya shillings. And Mombasa County got a total of 9.2 billion Kenya shillings. We're going to get those figures shortly. Compared to Kisumu, Kisumu got 8.8 billion Kenya shillings. And if you look at how these three governors have been ranked by the latest opinion poll by TIFA, I believe, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o from Kisumu was ranked the highest with 56% from the county citizens scorecard, followed by Ali Hassan Joe of Mombasa with 53%, and finish the sentence. Last is Mike Sonko with just 44% of the county citizens scorecard. Now, that is an equivalent of a D+, I'm told by our director here. Now in studio, once again, I have Ndegwa. Njiru is an advocate. Yes. Ndegwa, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Welcome to the program. Yeah. You've seen the performance there by Mike Sonko. Yes, There's those who are saying that Jubilee is targeting him basically because of politics.
Yes.
There's those who, of course, Jubilee is saying that they're targeting him. They want to impeach him because of his dismal performance.
Yes.
I mean, which one is above the other?
I think it is important for us to understand the circumstances under which a governor can be impeached in the Constitution. And of course, we drive those reprieves from Article 181 of the Constitution. It's the one that has created the grounds under which a governor can be removed from office on grounds of impeachment. One of the grounds is a gross violation of the law and the Constitution. The other one is inability to have transparency and accountability. But there's no question of political performance that can cause somebody to be removed from office. You must have contravened the provisions of Article 189 for anybody to move a motion for impeachment of a particular governor in a particular county.
So in all these cases, what do you think Jubilee has chosen? In all the four scenarios you've pointed out, which way do you think Jubilee is taking in order to, impeach him?
They must come up with a concrete position of gross violation of the Constitution and any other written law. That means gross violation of the Constitution and written laws includes issues of transparency, accountability, gross misconduct, and violation of Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
And they're saying he has failed in service delivery as well.
The unfortunate thing is that the question of gross violation of the Constitution is very wide. You do not require to violate the whole provision of the Constitution for you to be impeached, but even one provision alone
is enough.
For instance, you remember the other day, on Saturday, when there was this tree planting, you know what the seekers that happened at the dais, where Governor Sonko goes and grabs the microphone. There's something that happened there under Chapter 6.
Yes.
Chapter 6 says, that is of issues of leadership and integrity and leadership, that the holder of an office is supposed to bring honor and integrity and respect that particular office. So if you behave in a manner that can easily be interpreted that you're not bringing honor and respect in the office that you are holding, that can amount to issues of gross misconduct.
Is that really enough for him to be impeached?
You know, the unfortunate thing again, Yusuf, is that the Constitution, any violation of a Constitution is a violation, whether minute as it is or not. And remember, impeachment is a political process. If Sonko has fallen out with the party that sponsored him, and of course going by the question of the hardship, now the assembly is together, the Senate is together, whether you're in Jubilee or you're in NASA, the likelihood is that they will consider any ground that is going to be presented before them and consider it and move a motion.
Yes, you're going to take us through the impeachment process shortly. I understand you were very active in Wambura's case before.
I was actually acted for him in the Court of Appeal.
You're going to talk about, you're going to take us through that process shortly. But with regards to Sonko, him choosing Miguna as his deputy, of course he nominated him. Do you think he saw this coming, the impeachment, and all this backlash from his own political party?
Yes, Sonko is a man of circus. He thrives much more in a theater of absurdity than that of sanity. And that is a tragedy that befalls him now. The question of appointing Miguna is just a way of trying to divert the attention of where the issues are. And the issues are issues of how is he conducting himself in the issues of the affairs of the county. So Miguna issue is just a decoy to try and blindfold people so they may not focus on the real issues.
Yes, and hypothetically speaking, let's say Miguna accepts the nomination. I'm sure he's not going to, let me not say I'm sure, but he's already said that, this is something that he's not going to consider for now. So let's say he accepts the nomination. I mean, he's not even a Jubilee party. Alden Duale, the majority leader in the National Assembly, says this in a quote. He says that Miguna is not even a member of Jubilee party. It can take him at least 4 months for him to be a party member. So how legal is that?
Again, I don't know who advises Governor Sonko, and it's unfortunate that the letter was delivered by some of our senior colleagues in the profession to come to a conclusion or even to a thinking or even to an imagination that Miguna can become the deputy governor of the Nairobi County. One thing, there is no distinct separation of these two offices. The office of the deputy governor and the office of the governor, and as well the office of the president and the office of the deputy president, they are all serving in the institution of the governorship or the deputy president. So you cannot separate them. And essentially what that then means is that if you are to run for the deputy governor and a governor, you run as a package. And remember, this is a pre-election arrangement. That means if a person wants to run with a person as a deputy governor who is not a member of his party and that other person's party must have a pre-election coalition agreement that we have agreed to join together for purposes of running for the office of the deputy governor and the governor of Nairobi County. In the absence of that, there's nobody who can then go and appoint a governor or a deputy governor outside his party. Is actually another gross violation of the law, which is actually the Political Parties Act. It is unfortunate that that occurrence is not contemplated in our laws, that a person can appoint a deputy governor who is not a member of his party. But I think the Supreme Court, which gave the advisory opinion on the issues of appointment of a deputy governor, did not look these issues critically. One, the issues of deputy governor comes through a process of democratization. Essentially, that means that the people of a particular county vote for the persons they want to lead them as their deputy governor. So the Supreme Court's opinion, advisory opinion, cannot come and usurp the people's power granted upon them by Article 1 of the Constitution, which says that power belongs to the people and they shall exercise their sovereignty in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. So the Supreme Court's advisory opinion, what it has done, it has usurped the people's power. The people are the only people who are able to determine who leads us, either as a governor, as a deputy governor, as an MP, or even as any person who is contemplated to be an elected post. So we are having a constitutional crisis here, and it has been created by the Supreme Court's advisory opinion, because the issue of appointment of a deputy governor by the governor, then being vetted by parliament, has actually violated the Constitution.
Don't you think a precedent has been set, for example, when it comes to Nyeri County government?
It has, but even as the deputy governor of Nyeri continues to serve today, he's serving in that office unconstitutionally. Remember, the person, the advisory opinion, though coming from the Supreme Court, does not amend the Constitution itself, nor does it amend the existing laws in regard to the appointment of a governor or the election of a governor. An appointment cannot replace an election. Because the Election Act contemplates a situation whereby Kenyans go and vote in a voting pattern to vote for a governor and his deputy. So we are having, and this matter needs to be interrogated by the Constitutional Court, that is the High Court, to see whether or not a person who is appointed as a deputy governor is a constitutionally appointed person in respect of the holder of that particular office. Yes.
Yes. Now we appreciate for you for that explanation.
Yes.
Of course, you've demystified some of the issues there for us.
Yes.
Let's talk about this man, Mike Sonko.
Yes,
Where
Mike.
did this rain start beating him? Because just the other day, was it hardly 6 months?
Yes.
Ago, he was the darling of Jubilee Party.
Yes. I think the rain started beating us when we refused to institutionalize our political parties. When we said that our political parties will become just mere what is called special purpose vehicles for attaining a particular purpose in a particular season. The inability to institutionalize our parties has made it to make sure, has it that we do not have the credible persons vying for positions in those particular political parties, even for elective parties or even for elective positions or political parties management. So anybody who comes or anything goes, as long as you're in favor of the person who owns the political party, it goes. The party does not look at your integrity. It does not look at your background. It does not look at even at your ability to perform. As long as you are the best mobilizer, as long as you are the best financier.
So it took his political party in question now, Jubilee, 7 months to realize that he's not the right person.
And that is very unfortunate, because this thing, the inability of the political party to be strong, to be a strong institution, to present the only credible candidates for an election is what has brought us here today. That is why we have a lot of potholes in Nairobi. That is why the garbage cannot be collected in Nairobi. That is why a governor has to go and grab a microphone in a presidential function, because the political party does not mind about the integrity of individuals. So Jubilee cannot come and start lecturing us now that Sonko has failed. Before they point a finger at Sonko, they need to point a finger at themselves. Did we present the best candidates for the people of Nairobi? If not, Jubilee must first of all apologize to the people of Nairobi, even before they move on with the process of impeaching Governor Sonko.
You're going to take us through the impeachment process once again, maybe after a short break that we're going to take shortly. Perhaps can you tell us, that those who are saying with all this drama, the back and forth we're witnessing in Nairobi, despite the governor not performing very well, is not the worst governor in the country, but there's some sort of a 2022 politics hand in it.
Exactly, and that's again, I'm saying that political parties are being manipulated by the persons who want to benefit from them. It's not just in Nairobi that we have this scenario that the election was influenced by the 2022 elections. Even in Mount Kenya region, where I come from, largely the elections and the nominations of Jubilee were influenced by the 2022 elections. I don't want to mention names here, but there were good candidates who lost the nominations simply because they were not in the package of the 2022 package. So, and that's why we need to have strong institutions being focused and being led by proper people who mean well for this country. For instance, and why it is important for us to interrogate the Sonko saga in light of the 2022 politics, is that the persons who want to benefit from the 2022 politics did not want to have strong candidates who can pose a threat, or who can have a contra view in the process, or who can even say, wait a minute, how about this? That's how we ended up with people like Sonko. And I remember on this show, I once said that even if you clothe Sonko with suits from Italy, Germany, or wherever, he's still a Sonko.
But this is an individual that has been chosen by an overwhelming majority of Nairobians. So that brings to the fore once again the issue of State House. It's allegedly that they're the ones who are, controlling basically the county government. And the reason as to why Sonko went ahead to choose Miguna as his deputy and nominate him is some sort of showing defiance to the House on the Hill.
And that is true, because you remember Miguna is being perceived as an antagonist. And is being perceived as an antagonist and antagonizing the outcome of the handshake. Remember, the handshake does not have the full blessing of the Jubilee. And this I can quote because even the president himself mentioned when he was on his way from the funeral of the late Honorable Matiba. He said that there are even guys in his own party who are not out for the handshake. So Miguna being an outsider and who is an antagonist to the handshake, and the handshake being a threat to some people who have some focus and some ambitions, Sonko would want to sneak him. So that he can come and antagonize and revolutionize the whole process of the handshake.
Yeah.
If the handshake is being perceived as a threat to the ambitions of 2022.
But we appreciate you already told us that legally that is not going to happen.
It cannot happen.
Yes.
Legally.
And this is a question we had for our viewers earlier on our Twitter poll. We did ask you if is Jubilee Party justified to consider impeaching Governor Mike Sonko. We did ask you this. Is Jubilee Party justified to consider impeaching Governor Sonko? We're going to go through some of the processes of impeaching a governor. Once again, it's a process that happened, I believe, in the first county government during Wambora's time. The current Embu governor who faced impeachment, the county assembly, of course, they had a motion, filed a motion there to impeach him. It's a matter that was also brought to the Senate. We're going to go through some of the processes shortly after this very short break. But even as we take that break, let me take you straight to the Central Business District, to be specific, Kenyatta Avenue, and look at how the traffic looks like at this hour. Street free flowing there, and if you're planning to come to the CBD, know that it's not badly off there at Kenyatta Avenue. Those are live pictures coming our way. We're going to leave you that, but we're going to return shortly with lawyer Ndegwa Njiru, who is going to tell us more on the impeachment process of a governor. What is at stake for the people of Nairobi? Because it seems to be a very long procedure.
Yes.